I'm David Hawkson, you're on The Creators today. And you know, sometimes you got to meet people in the music industry that really float your boat because they've done so much and you're so inspired by all the things they've done. And today I'm here with Garth Richardson, producer, engineer, industry builder. Wow. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming in.
We are in the beautiful Little Mountain Sound.
Studio A, Little Mountain Sound.
Yes.
Built in 1972.
Yes.
Bruce Fairbairn, Bob Rock.
Yes.
Okay, some of the people through here.
Mike Fraser too.
Mike Fraser, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we got to just tell people what's happened in this room. Okay, like Aerosmith, Metallica, Loverboy, AC/DC, Motley Crue, Bryan Adams has been in here. Nickelback, Olivia Newton-John, Skinny Puppy, Payolas, Images in Vogue. Mm-hmm. It's like a crazy room. This room is hallowed ground musically, internationally.
Yes.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, many people have had their favorite records come out of this exact room we're sitting in. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now you, okay, first of all, you're a producer for Motley Crue, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nickelback, Taylor Swift. You worked on something, Ozzy Osbourne, the new Big Wreck record, Biffy Clyro, who I love, Headley, Kitty, L7, Rage Against the Machine, who everybody loves, 5440, Melvins, Chevelle, Joy Drop. People know Joy Drop, Tara Sloan.
Sloan, who was just an angel.
Yeah, from Hockey Night in Canada, right? Yep. Gallows, Neville Brothers, Kansas Trap, Ninja Spy, Honeymoon Suite, Rise Against. Okay, now that's you, musically, right?
Okay, thank you.
But your father is also Jack Richardson.
Yes.
Bless his heart.
Yes.
Now, some people called him the godfather of Canadian music. He worked with Kiss and Alice Cooper.
No, he didn't work with Kiss. He worked with actually Bob Seger, Alice Cooper, the Guess Who.
Why did I think he was working with Kiss? Okay.
Because of Bob.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm corrected. Poco, though. He worked with Poco.
Yes.
Well, I like Poco.
Yeah.
He's also had he was the Order of Canada.
Yes.
He got
the Order of Canada, which was just, just great.
Yeah, amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
And then the Junos have honored him by naming the best album of the year, producer of the year?
Yeah.
Yeah, is a name for your father.
Yeah.
So really, your musical heritage and background is quite an amazing feat. So we're going to get into a little bit about what makes Garth Richardson Garth Richardson.
Oh dear. Okay, go on.
Okay,
go on.
So first of all, I just want to talk about some of the works that people might know you for. Okay. So Kanon had one of the best singles of the year. Was it 2011? The best single for Waving Flag, I believe, right?
Yes.
And that was with Bob Ezrin and you, right?
Yes.
And he worked with Peter Gabriel, Lou Reed, Deep Purple, and all those bands.
He did the small band called Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Yeah.
I think was a big record.
Yeah, that was a pretty big record. Yeah. So you worked with him, and then you worked with Red Hot Chili Peppers. You did Mother's Milk.
Yes, I was the engineer on that record.
So Taste the Pain, Higher Ground, Stevie Wonder cover, and Knock Me Down.
Yes.
So let's just talk quickly about Chili Peppers record, the Mother's Milk record. Okay. So being around a band like with that much energy must have been quite fulfilling.
You know what the problem was at the time? That was when the other guy in the band died.
Right.
So Flea and Anthony were actually struggling.
Right.
So there was this really cool energy with them because they were, the guy was going to be in charge wasn't going to be Flea or Anthony, right? But then David, the guitar player.
Right.
So John, who was this 18-year-old kid who played like nobody I've ever seen play, and he came in. He also Chad Smith too was just absolutely a phenomenal drummer.
Right.
You know that whole thing, the bass. Actually, drums were done live off the floor.
Right.
I think we actually fixed maybe four notes on the bass and the whole thing, and it was live. Right. He was amazing.
Yeah. Which we can move straight to the to the Rage Against the Machine record because essentially the same thing. It's basically live off the floor. I mean, everybody knows the Killing in the Name of and all those songs, Bomb Track and all that stuff. But you just basically didn't have to do you did some things, of course.
The thing is that like in the old days, we used to have to go into this room. You have like this door, and once the door was shut, all you had was a phone on the wall, so that you could actually focus. And I did not want to actually bring them in to the studio and have them on, like these headphones, and they had this little space that they could move.
Right.
He actually brought in a full concert PA system.
Right.
I put the drums behind the PA system Tom, actually Tim's amps were in the, like in the back room.
Right.
I wanted them to do their live show, but inside of a very controlled environment. I wanted to actually capture a feeling.
Right.
I did not want to, okay, now we have the drums, let's get the bass, now we have the bass, let's get guitars. I wanted this thing, here to feel.
Right.
And you know what, nowadays the records are being made, it's just like, get me a gun, shoot me in the head, because everybody's got to stop.
Bullet in the head. That's a Rage Against the Machine song.
Yeah. So the whole thing was just we wanted to actually capture a actual feeling.
Yeah. Which brings me to the next thing, actually, is we talked about before the interview a little bit about being a producer and that you're paying for the gray in your beard, because you actually decided that it wasn't really about just capturing them on record, it was about actually creating that feeling.
Yeah.
That's what the pros do. The guys that have been around, they know what they need to seek out, right?
Yeah.
So your experience told you to do that.
Well, you know what, it's really kind of funny. Like a long time ago, I used to tell my dad, Dad, you're fucking wrong. Fuck off. And he'd sit there and he'd smile and he'd kind of go, okay, yeah, go ahead. And after I got into it more and more, I called him up and said, hey, Dad, do you remember when I used to tell you to fuck off? He goes, yeah. I go, you know what, you were right. He says, yeah, I know.
Right.
Because he had been through World War I, World War II, World War III, World War IV, World War V, because you know what, it's actually hard work.
It is.
And I really realized that I should have just actually shut up and went, yeah, Dad, you're right. But, because of us being young, we're like, we can do anything. And it's like, you know what, it was hard work.
I think as an art, like when people are coming to you and they want to work with you, right? I think that's one of the things you're doing is you're paying for that experience, obviously, right?
Exactly.
So if you know the guy that you're going for, Garth Richardson, you would want him to put his fingerprints all over me if I was doing music, because you've had success. Yeah.
I tend to not want my actual fingerprints on it. You actually want to have it so that that band sounds like them. I hate when basically you have a record on, you go, oh, blah, 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 this record. I do know that other guy that's over in actually Sweden, Max Martin.
Okay, yeah.
Amazing job, loves his work, but everything sounds the same.
Right.
It's the same style, it's the same thing. You could take any singer and go from this singer song to this singer song, and you could go like this, and you know what happens? It's the same. You actually like somebody had actually put the same actually painting in each room of their house.
Yeah, yeah.
You walk in, you go, oh, that's a nice. Oh, it's the exact same thing. There's no more sounds. It's just stock, it seems.
For me, it's like the R&B beat that I've heard from 1983 on. And would somebody change that R&B beat, please?
Yeah.
Anyway, now that you've had success and you've got a name, you get to kind of choose who you work with.
And pick,
Like, what are some of the elements that you're looking for when you're choosing who to work with?
Okay, songs, number one. The band has to have songs. Two, you have to have a lead singer. You have to have a star. You have no star, then you have no band.
Right.
And
what about their attitude and their swagger? Is that something like just generally as people?
I want a band. You had to come into like a room, and when they come in the room, everyone goes, "Who's that?" A band that comes in the room and they're kind of like around the actual side, and they don't really do much, and you're kind of going, "Well, there's no vibe there."
Right.
You know what? You got to be because a band has to entertain.
Right.
That they have to walk into a room, people will want to hang out with them.
Right.
If they're really kind of mopey or they're just like they're really shy, they're kind of timid.
Right.
You know what? That's the wrong business to be in.
So recording technology today is different. It's a new world where people feel they can produce music and stuff. What's the difference between having a guy like you with the experience and somebody at a home studio doing their own music? I know they're being
That's right there. It's experience.
Yeah.
Basically, I've been doing it since I've been actually 15 years old.
Right.
I have seen everything. I have seen it go from from actually 8-track to actually 16-track to actually 24-track to 48-track to 64-track.
To limitless tracks.
Now it's like, you know what? Somebody has to make up their goddamn mind. Make a decision. You know, you don't need to put 8 mics on the bass amp because you know what? 1 mic is better than 8. Drum mics, you know what?
Placement.
Placement, you know, sound, knowing that if you have a really bad, you know, somebody that can't play drums, guess what? That equals shitty drum sound. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Actual bad bass player means a bad bass sound.
Right.
You know what? You got to get people that can actually play.
Yeah, know their instrument.
Know their instrument.
Okay, a techie question.
Go on.
Has the digital world found the analog warmth that you get from analog gear?
I don't think so.
No?
Yeah.
Do you think it's close?
No. There's a warmth of a tube. There's a warmth of a console. The problem is because everybody wants to do 1,000 recalls on a mix. And you can no longer have it up on a big console because if you had to recall that every time someone says, you know, the hi-hat in the second verse is not loud enough, you know, the kick drum, or you know stuff. So now we have been forced to do it inside of a box.
Right.
I just did the new big rec record, and we manually mixed it on the Neve board.
Oh, beautiful.
Over at the warehouse, and I did not want to suck it dry. I wanted me and actually Randy Staub and actually and I were all at the console doing moves. So
back to the performance.
Well, no. It's actually back to the fact that Randy Staub, Mike Fraser, Randy Wallace, and like all of these amazing name mixers, they have an EQ, they have a compressor and a gate, maybe, and they have a fader.
Right.
That's all they have.
Right.
But now, because of this new, digital, thing, you can have 75, actually things on this one sound, and it doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
Make it right first.
Right. So performance, you need to have a good performance. And what about happy mistakes?
Those are always great.
Yeah. Do you find that sometimes that makes a record?
Yeah.
Can you give me an example?
Oh, shit. Oh, dear. You know what? Yes, there are some, but I can't remember them
It's okay.
offhand.
It's too much being a rock star.
Wow. Tough room.
You grew up in a studio basically with your father, Jack Richardson, and you followed through on music. As an artist and a person who creates music, was there another occupation that kind of made you go, oh, that sounds interesting to me if I hadn't taken a world of music? Was there another part of your brain or some hobby or something that
you
liked?
I think I would have become an actual referee for the NHL.
Great.
The
new Andy Van Hellemond.
I would have been better than Andy. You know?
That's a big one.
I used to play hockey. I was actually talking to somebody yesterday, my old coach, when I played. He actually put somebody through the boards. The whole boards collapsed.
Wow.
Because he went, go hit him, and I hit him, and the whole board just fell down.
So is that 2 minutes for charging or 2 minutes for boarding?
No, there was a lot of this.
Okay. With your father, he instilled in you, obviously, music.
Yes.
The love of music, being around music, the creative process, creative people around you all the time.
Yes.
Now you own Nimbus, School of Recording and Media,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Co-owner.
Yes.
So it must feel really good because as a kid, your father was giving that to you, and now you have all these kids coming through your school. You're kind of giving it to them, an opportunity and the vision to go for it.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
And you know what? It makes me feel absolutely great because you know what? He's looking down at us now and just there's this like he's looking at me like this, going, "Good boy," you know. So you know what? It's just great.
It's paying it forward, right? And also it's an enrichment of the arts in Vancouver as a whole.
You know, like a really good story was this guy sat down with my dad for 4 hours and, "Hey, Jack, how do I get into the music business?" Later on, the guy was actually David Foster.
Wow.
When he's a nobody, you know. So he
David Foster went to your father
for 4 hours, unknown.
And your dad took the time.
Just took the time.
Wow. Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't charge him.
He was kind, you know.
He was a kind man.
Yeah.
Well, Order of Canada, and amazing.
Yeah.
So basically, how do you feel being a creative person?
Yeah.
What's it like to be a creative person and acknowledge it? Did you know as a young little whippersnapper that you were going to be a creative person?
You know what?
I mean, a lot of pressure. Your dad was creative.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean.
I kind of didn't know until like I was about 12 or 13, like that age, about that. But then you know what? It's like I never left. I used to go down to my dad's studio every day, and I got to watch actually Peter Gabriel, actually Tim Curry, actually Bay City Rollers. You know, it goes on and on and on, and I just went, you know what? Wow, this is an amazing job. Mm-hmm. So, you know what? It's like I used to actually be there 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Yeah.
But you're around creative people.
Yeah.
But did you have a moment when you thought to yourself, "Hey, you know what? I'm pretty creative too."
Yeah.
What kind of sparked you to think that?
He was always hearing what was going on around and going, "You know what? I think I think that they should do this," and then that was what was actually talked about, right. And then I went, "Oh, okay, so it's like I knew I was in tune, I think, with it, you know."
I don't necessarily want you to get too personal, but is there a magic moment with your father that you will all time remember that it's not too personal that you don't mind sharing?
Well, actually, magic moment was the fact that he made me do my actual first edit on tape, and I blew it. It was the worst edit ever. And for 34 years or 40 years, he would always tell me, "That was a horrible edit." So he actually constantly he actually poked me.
Always keeping you on your toes.
Always on my
fantastic.
toes. But you know what? When I got nominated on the Rage. Rage for the Grammy.
Right.
I think that
he was alive at the time?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. And he was very proud of his son.
Yeah.
That's great. Being a creative person, you're around creative people, a lot of personalities.
Yes.
Yes,
we're all crazy.
Yes, absolutely. It's fun to watch. It's kind of like a slow motion car wreck sometimes, I suppose.
Okay. Yeah.
Is it tiring to be around that a lot? Like you have your downtime. You have a beautiful studio, the farm studio in Roberts Creek.
Yeah.
Greatest place to get away and breathe clean air and do projects. But your downtime's important. Is it tiring just to be around creative people?
It's tiring because you know what the problem is because us as actually creative people, we focus so far down, and we sit there and we look at every beat, every sound, every noise, every hit, everything, right? So the fact is that we actually focus so deep that when we're done and we're done work, we are exhausted. But this is actually not a 9 to 5 job. It's a 9 a.m. till 5 a.m. job.
Right.
You're constantly thinking about what has to happen next. So you know what? It gets tiring.
Right. So when you have your downtime, what do you do?
You know what? I do nothing. I just sit in the chair and I just kind of go and just kind of stare.
Putt around the house.
Putter around the house, go for a walk.
To your beautiful dog, Cooper.
Yes, yeah.
We'll bring a photo up of Cooper for this because you got to see him. He's the cutest thing.
Somewhere,
Can you share some advice for people who want to work with somebody like yourself and also who want to get signed?
Okay.
What I'm trying to get you to do here is basically thin the herd, so you can do us all a favor.
Okay. Well. There's a
realistic.
There was a thing that my dad actually, was young. I said, Dad, this is really what I want to do. He says, okay, son, you and I have to have a talk. And I had a pad of paper, and I had, like many sheets. I had a pen. I was like, okay, Dad, I'm ready. And he goes, ready? And he goes, okay, ready? Write this down. He said, good songs sell, bad songs don't. And then he gets up and he leaves. And I go, that's it? He goes, that's it. So to every band that is out there, if you look great, it doesn't matter. If you can play fast, or you can play slow, or you can have a groove, it doesn't matter. It's about a song. It's about telling a great story. What the problem is that these bands say, oh, this label really didn't do a good job for us. I go, no. You really kind of had a really shitty record.
Right.
It had nothing to do with the label. Because you know what, if it's great, the fans are going to love it. If it sucks, guess what? Nobody is going to know you.
Right.
So my biggest advice is put down your actual computer, Facebook, put down your phone, texting, pick up your guitar, and actually study from Jackson Browne, Don Henley, we're actually Carole King, like all these amazing songwriters.
Right.
Look at what they have done, because the only way that you're going to get to where they are is to write great songs.
Right.
There is no way actually thing that's going to make you a big hit, except a hit song.
Right. Study the craft and study the history.
Study the craft and You know what?
Honor the history.
Yeah. And you know what? Nobody that I go, how's this band? They go, who? How about this songwriter? Who? I've never heard that. It's like, but there are so many amazing songs. Now, not so much. Right. I feel.
Back to Rage Against the Machine for a second. Killing in the name of anthemic, basically.
Yes.
Do you think bands use the medium of music enough, like Rage Against the Machine did, to actually poke the fire a little bit?
No, because you know what? They're really, not like a bad thing, but everything has become so, actually PG.
Yeah.
That if anybody veers outside.
I like that, PG, not PC.
Yeah. If anybody veers outside those lines, then it's like, that's bad. Rage is still relevant, or actually more relevant today.
Right.
Than it was back in '91. So I think somebody has to get angry. Somebody has to get pissed off, because you know what? Donald Trump is doing such a fantastic job.
We know what a big fan of him you are.
I'm a huge fan. I just hope that the people down in the States can actually physically get up and write something about it, because what a mess.
Well, it's like when Thatcher was in the whole stand down Margaret thing and all that, and then Reagan. A lot of people say you need to have someone like that in the White House to create some good art and stuff. So people can use this as a catalyst and say more, but it is a choice for an artist to decide to go there politically. Yeah. It can be a dangerous one. Do you think there's enough risk takers out there?
Well, you want to hear something funny. I had this band that the chorus went, hard luck, was it hard luck, do you look like I give a fuck? Hands down, shots up, we're going to fucking rock this town. And I had the record label and the manager call me up and go, Garth, can we change the word fuck to darn? And I went, are you kidding me? yeah, well, we feel, that radio. So I went, hard luck, do you look like I give a darn? And I go, guys, I bought a whole house because of the word. And it's like so everybody has become so, we're scared to do this or scared to do that. It's like, what, if this is in your heart and this is what you want to say, do it and say it. But speak up, because we need you more than ever. As
Lenny Bruce said, it's just words.
Yeah.
Right? That's how it's the context you use them.
Yeah.
This is the Creators TV show.
Yes.
One of the themes through the show is obviously talking to people about being creative, and you're a creative person, you work with creative people. Do you have some advice to somebody who wants to be an artist that might be a little scared to be an artist perhaps, or somebody who thinks they're creative but they don't know how to manifest it?
Oh, that's a tough question. You know what? My thing is actually follow your heart. Follow your heart. Follow your dreams. I would rather you do it and try and fail than to be later at the bar with a beer in your hand going, I could have been a contender. You know what? If you're creative, get up and do it.
What is it like being a creative person at a core? Is it hard?
Well, yeah. It's hard because it never turns off. And when you see a band, you're going, oh, I don't like that. I like that. Why did they do that? That snare doesn't right. That beat. You are literally constantly on. It's really kind of draining.
I was going to say, how do you keep a little for yourself?
You don't. You know what? This is not a job. This is a life.
Right.
You know what? You give it all to it.
Right.
Which is sad.
So everything that you've done.
Yes.
Your career, your music, the studio, we're sitting here right now. Mm-hmm. Are you happy? Are you happy you made the choice to do this? Are you a happy guy?
Always. I go back and do it again twice. Yeah. Because you know what? It's like, again, I get to do what I love. It has been like a ride.
Yeah. And you're here right now on this hallowed ground.
Yeah.
You're doing so much to pay it forward. And I guess as we get a little older, it's always nice to know that you're trying to inspire some other people.
Yeah,
so good on you, man.
Oh, good.
That's
Thank
great.
You. Good.
Thank you very much for coming on The Creators.
Okay. Bye, man.
Thanks.
Cheers.
See ya.